The Order of the Phoenix is terrible at their jobs. Hey, brother! Y'all, I hate to say it, but the Order of the Phoenix is darn near utterly useless. The organization, that is, not the physical tome. Although, on that note, it is the longest book in the series and centers around Voldemort searching for a weapon, which is definitely not a weapon, but the prophecy, which he's already heard half of, and the other half, if he did hear, it wouldn't make him any more powerful. Like, it might have been useful if he heard it the first time around, but at this point, he's already marked the person he said he shouldn't have marked, so like... But anyway, back to the Order of the Phoenix. One of the coolest moments in the whole series, dare I say, even in the films, is when the Order arrives at the Department of Mysteries, looking like freaking angels and serious as all.
Get away from my godson.
Boom! What a diss to Lucius, being struck in such a distinctly non-magical way. Like, Sirius really knows exactly how to get under his skin. I love it.
Nice one, James!
But the Order of the Phoenix, whilst aligned with all of our own ideals and distinctly positioned against the dark magic regime of Voldemort and the Death Eaters, are nothing shy of miserable at their jobs. And I'm talking about both iterations of the Order. I mean, everyone we see in Moody's original photograph of the organization and the more modern version that Harry meets in book 5. Collectively, they successfully lose both wars. And I mean, like, granted, the first time they were acting in a very, reactionary role to the rising threat of Voldemort. But in round 2, what are you doing? You had like an 11-year head start. That is tremendous. You know the moment Voldemort comes back and half of Voldemort's army is in prison. These are advantages they assure Harry are going to make a huge difference in the fight, but spoilers, they don't. But I hear you guys. We all love the Order. They're so cool and made up of some of the best characters in the series. We got Tonks, Kingsley, Moody, Lupin, freaking Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's got style.
And did I mention they have Bill Weasley? I mean, Harry only has one way to describe him. Cool. Harry was like, look at this, another guy with a scar. My God, that's no other word for it. You know what I mean?
Also a werewolf named Greyback.
And look, I'm not saying they're bad wizards. They're great wizards. But if the Order is so gosh darn cool, why do they lose so gosh darn always? Today, we're gonna break down why the Order is just so dysfunctional. And trust you me, they are. Join me for a scathing review of the Order of the Phoenix. Synergy is described as the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. Individuals come together and make each other better in the process. 2 + 2 = 5, like you're elevated by your companions. But I would argue for the Order, the reverse is true. Like, they're great wizards on their own, but when they come together, they fail abysmally. And it starts right away. I mean, like, right away at the start of Order of the Phoenix, where the first thing that happens at all is Harry hearing the distinct cracking sound of someone disapparating. Crack! This is later revealed to be Mundungus Fletcher abandoning his post to make a deal for some stolen cauldrons. But you know what? Fair enough. Have you seen the price of cauldrons these days? Inflation, am I right? And I mean, that's after Fudge ran on a promise of lowering inflation on day 1. And now what's he doing? Lying to the whole country for the whole book? I mean, jeez. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be so bad if the cauldron bottoms were up to proper thickness standards, but I digress. Point is, Harry is all in a huff for being left out of everything that's going on, when simply letting him know that people were keeping an eye on him for his own safety wouldn't have damaged anything. Well, that is until like the Dementors show up and Harry would have been all like, oh, it's cool, the Order has an eye on me, so no need to act, no need to Patronus. And then him and Dudley would get their souls sucked out and that's it, Voldemort wins. Maybe the Order did know what they were doing. No, obviously they don't, and obviously that doesn't happen because Harry doesn't know and is all hot-tempered about, well, everything that year. My main point is the Order had one job: protect Harry in a place where he's already unfindable. So you'd think should be pretty easy, right? But they promptly fumble the bag. But hey, good news, they had a second squib on the job in the form of Mrs. Fig, who is there Yeah, I mean, she doesn't help. She doesn't even summon anyone else to assist. She yells about Mundungus a bunch, and then he just shows up on his own accord. But hey, at least she'll be a reliable witness who can, properly describe Dementors accurately in a couple of weeks, right?
One of them was very large, and the other rather skinny.
Right? So, objective 1, protect Harry. Objective 2, do not let him perform magic. Performance review. Room for improvement. But that brings us to our next objective, get Harry to the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix. And you might say, hey, they do this. And you are right, but I have notes. Because see, Harry is about to be on trial for doing magic. And the way the Ministry tracks that kind of thing is odd. It's with something called the Trace, which is a very unfair system that doesn't actually detect who does the magic, just if magic happens near an underage wizard. So like if you're Ron or Draco, for example, you could probably pretty easily get away with doing magic because you are constantly surrounded by adults that might have been doing the magic instead of you.
The parents knew about this.
Yeah, well, I haven't got any of those, have I, Ron?
But Harry, on the other hand, is the only wizard anywhere near Privet Drive. So if ever there is any magic there at all, they just assume it had to come from him, which is super unfair. Like, that's why he gets blamed for Dobby's hover charm back in Chamber of Secrets. Never mind the start of the third movie where Harry's just doing Lumos in his room. No problem. But that's in the movie. This is in the books. One of the people who comes to get him is Kingsley Shacklebolt, the head of the Auror department and several other Aurors. And they would super be aware of this and, should probably refrain from doing any more magic in the area since they are specifically concerned that the Ministry is looking for any excuse to punish Harry. And yet, Tonks poorly folds Harry's socks, poorly cleans Hedwig's cage, and Moody puts a disillusionment charm on Harry. All things that would make Harry's case so much worse had the Ministry noticed. And why they don't is beyond me. Feels like Kingsley slipped someone at the Trace office a 20 galleon under the table, you know what I mean? Can you imagine Harry and Court being like, I didn't fold my socks with magic. Someone else came to the house and folded my socks with magic. Okay, what's so hard to believe about that? But y'all, we need to take a brief pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Uncommon Goods, because the Order might be uncommonly bad at their jobs, but Uncommon Goods is, well, great at theirs. And look, I get it. The true spirit of the holidays is time spent together with loved ones. But let's face it, the real fun is like, winning the holidays with the best gifts, right? I mean, not really, but like kind of. But Uncommon Goods is like a holiday cheat code. It is packed with tons of unique and awesome products that you've just never stumbled across before. Think Murder Mystery Jigsaw Puzzle, a Candy of the World Advent Calendar, custom pet embroidered sweatshirts. I mean, come on. And don't sleep on the sassy storage containers. I mean, these things are adorable, hilarious, and most importantly, still functional. Honestly, I feel like Mundungus could learn quite a bit from them. So I don't know how you guys do Christmas, but at my house, we are like one of those like one gift at a time families. And I know that can seem daunting. There's so much pressure on every single gift, but when you gift with Uncommon Goods, you can just do it with confidence and empower your recipient to have the ultimate, like authentic, like, oh my gosh, no, what did, reaction. Plus, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. I mean, think of the Order of the Phoenix. They're just like a little tiny small business. They need help, obviously. But here's the thing. Many of their handcrafted products are made in like small batches. So like shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Like seriously, don't wait. Like cross the names off your list before the rush. Plus, then you're just done. That's the best when everyone else is like, oh my God, I haven't done your Christmas shopping. You're like, oh yeah, finished mine in November. It's no big deal, really.
But I don't talk about that.
And if you want 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/SuperCarlin. That is uncommongoods.com/SuperCarlin for 15% off Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary.
You're just as sane as I am.
Link down below. And then I think does Ben sings, right? He goes, back to the video. Look, I'll say this about the Order. They are at the very least the second best secret defense organization living at number 12 Grimmauld Place that summer. Because the DA. They haven't even formed yet, but still. But you see what I mean? Right out of the gate, what are they even doing? I mean, even after Harry gets there and asks them point blank, what are you guys doing? They don't have any new information for him that he didn't already know. Their biggest victories so far are recruiting Tonks and Kingsley. And no doubt, they are great allies, but are they getting anything done or being utilized proficiently? Let's see. Tonks doesn't start strong. She almost folds socks. So Kingsley is literally the head of the Auror's office. Like, short of convincing Fudge himself that Voldemort is back, this is the next best thing. Like, even if the other Aurors don't believe that Voldemort's back, it doesn't matter. Send them on as many missions as possible that can't help but prove it. Investigate Cedric Diggory's untimely, albeit hilarious, death. Continue the hunt for Bertha Jorkins, whose demise Harry learns, but never the rest of the Ministry. They still don't know what happened. Conduct raids on the names of the Death Eaters Harry reported from the graveyard. There are like a million ways to utilize this office without them even knowing what you're up to. Instead, Kingsley's main contribution from this post is to misdirect the hunt for Sirius, which is to say, waste the Auror's time hunting for a man you know is innocent and can't be found. Which, on that note, there's no need to misdirect anyone. He can't be found at Grimmauld Place. He is not under threat at all. But like, hey, good job, Kingsley. Good job. Then you've got Tonks, a literal generational talent in terms of shapeshifting. One book ago, Voldemort used an artificial version of her ability for an entire year to great effect. And yet, the Order will do nothing with Tonks' Metamorph Magi talents. Ever. Voldemort is vapor, is like that gross baby thing, and he's like, if you know what's useful, looking like someone else. Like, I bet we can use that.
To transform himself temporarily into the physical form of another.
You mean if Harry and I drink that stuff, we'll turn into Crab and Goyle?
Yes.
Wicked.
The most they let Tonks do is have her look like an old woman to escort Harry to platform 9 3/4. That's it. Like even listen to this. Even in the Battle of the Seven Potters, she isn't one of the ones who transforms. Like,
we're identical.
Are you kidding me? And it gets worse. Later in Order, when Harry and company are having the first Defense Against the Dark Arts meeting in the Hogshead, it's revealed that Mundungus is spying on them as the witch under the veil. Are you telling me you're making Mundungus wear silly costumes to spy when Tonks can literally just alter her appearance and do the exact same thing? Is this not like the exact job for her skill set? But also actually having a spy at the Hogshead at all is completely redundant because freaking Aberforth already works there and is already a member. The GOAT, am I right? If you know, you know. But also, actually, despite having 2 spies on site in the Hogshead, neither of them noticed that Umbridge had one there too. Like, y'all are so bad at this. Are you spying on your ally Harry and not the bad guys? And that's not even the first time they missed something that obvious. Like earlier in the book, Moody complains that Sturgis Podmore missed guard duty, hadn't returned his cloak, and fails to show up to escort Harry to the train station. But despite Sturgis acting so odd, Moody, the greatest Auror of all time, whose motto is constant vigilance, chalks it up to incompetence, despite the truth being that the Death Eaters put the Imperius curse on him. Like, isn't it your exact job to notice this stuff? You'd think he'd especially be more vigilant after last year. Because in case you forgot, let's recap. Last year, Moody, again, greatest Auror ever, is overtaken by, man who has been a rat for 13 years and hasn't practiced magic, and man who's been under the Imperius curse for 13 years and hasn't practiced magic. And also, not for nothing, but like, what is Moody even doing for the Order half the time? Like, he brings Harry to headquarters to start, but then he doesn't revisit headquarters until August 30th, which we know because that's when the Boggart is finally dealt with, because he can finally check to see what's inside the drawer. But so then, what was he doing for the last 2 months? Like, certainly nothing we see pay dividends, I'll tell you that. But let's not single Moody out, because he is not alone in that camp. Like, Sirius is able to offer the Order a place to set up camp, but then is stuck inside, unable to do anything, even though Kingsley's whole role is to make sure he won't be caught. Don't worry, they're not gonna be looking for you in the right place. Even so, you can't leave. Then you got Lupin out there trying to convince werewolves to join their side, or at least not take up arms with Voldemort, but I guess he's failing because Lupin, the world-class teacher whose ability to motivate students is somehow no match for Fenrir Greyback, who's outdoing the exact same thing for Voldemort. I hate that explanation. Like, Lupin just isn't as good as Fenrir at recruiting. Like, what? I find it hard to believe. Lupin! But then there's also Hagrid, who's set out to win over the Giants, something I would like to say that Dumbledore had 13 years to do himself, but didn't.
I shouldn't have said that.
Either way, Hagrid and Madame Maxime head out on this mission, fail miserably, and Hagrid ends up dragging a single very small but still super dangerous giant back to Hogwarts, where he asks Harry, of all people, to take care of it. Not the Order, who you recruited Grop to help fight with. Don't tell them. Make the chosen one do it. Like, don't you think this is the exact sort of thing Dumbledore would understand and help with? Like, he is the one who sent you to do exactly this, and now you're being all secretive about it.
Should not have said that.
And the rest of the Hogwarts staff, not much better. I mean, first you got Snape, who I guess is at least successfully spying on Voldemort, and he does later call the Order to aid Dumbledore's army at the Ministry. But he wouldn't have needed to do that at all if he hadn't failed in his other mission of teaching Harry occlumency, a failure that results in the death of Sirius. Then we got McGonagall, who, I mean, she does stand up for Harry. I don't like to say bad things about McGonagall, but she does also give him this advice. For heaven's sake, Potter, do you really think this is about truth or lies? It's about keeping your head down and your temper under control. Which, no, that's not what it is about. It is about truth and lies, Professor. But hey, speaking of Umbridge, she also represents a crazy failure of the Order, which is that none of them are the ones teaching defense against the dark arts. Are you kidding me, Dumbledore? You are personally leading the anti-Voldemort secret society, and you allow your enemy, the Ministry, to appoint a teacher for defense against the dark arts? The class you know is the #1 most important subject for the students at the moment? What is your excuse? You don't need to conduct interviews or post classifieds or wait for volunteers. Just appoint any member of the Order to teach the class, because no matter what, even if they are a subpar teacher, they are still better than Umbridge. Kingsley is right there. Tonks is right there. Just there. Pick anyone. Make Arthur do it.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
Now, the big irony here is that part of why the Order is such a hot mess is because of Voldemort putting the Jinx on the defense against the dark arts position in the first place. Like, he first wanted that job so he could recruit people to his own army, but when he's denied, he at least makes sure no future generations have a consistent education in anti-dark arts, which is a savage blow, and I would say explains some of the Order's lack of order. But the hilarious part is that the final end result of this Jinx is the worst defense against the dark arts teacher ever gets the job, who is Umbridge, whose presence forces Voldemort's #1 enemy, Harry Potter, to instead recruit and train an army to fight Voldemort.
That's what you call ironic.
Wow, it's like he somehow defeated himself. But getting back on track, let's talk about our final 2 Order members, the Weasleys, Molly and Arthur. Molly, 10 out of 10. Does exactly what she's supposed to. Keeps everyone in order, feeds everyone, decontaminates the house. No notes. But then there's Arthur, who successfully stops Nagini from breaking into the Department of Mysteries and almost gives his life for the cause. A hero, 10 out of 10. No notes. Yeah, so there you go. That's the Order, but at least they delayed Voldemort, not getting a prophecy that wouldn't matter to him. Good job. Lightning round, I asked our Discord server to give a job review of the Order of the Phoenix, and here's what we got! The Order of the Phoenix was the most effective secret order in a 3-foot radius. They partner with a literal criminal that only ever messes things up for them. It's a good thing they're the Order of the Phoenix, because if they were the Order of the anything else, they'd have stayed dead. They left a squib and a petty criminal to guard Harry the Chosen One Potter. Order of the Phoenix got dunked on by an extracurricular high school club, and they want to be called an elite organization? Please. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you want to see another scathing review, check out this video right here. But otherwise, Ben, until next time, I will see you in another life, brother.